Hey Facebook! Hello Facebook fam and friends. It's good to be back. Welcome to October. Welcome to our final quarter of 2019. All right, I'm just going to give it a couple moments for some people to join in. It's never fun talking to myself on here. So if you're joining, say hello, give me a wave. Welcome, Mike. Thanks for being here. So, wow, I am floored that it's already the final quarter of 2019, and this last quarter prior to October coming in has been such a potent time as we've entered new collective energies. So, if you hear the little pitter patter in the background, that's Leo running back and forth, wanting some attention. Here he is. So I want to talk today about some updates, some I want to call it downloads, transmissions, influences that have been coming up over the last few months, and speak about those things, and obviously take or leave it. For some of you it may resonate, for others it may not. I'm of the teachings that I'm here to help empower you to find what's true and authentic for you, and not to take what I say verbatim and make it your truth. We're in a time period. Raphael, oh my God, what a blast. Good to see you. Hey, I'm good. But I want you to be empowered from any of the posts and the work that I'm doing, the videos, the new projects that I have coming out. Everything that I do is about helping you to become the authority and the empowered being that you are. And we are done with the period of guru and putting people on pedestals, etc. So I want to talk about some of the influences that have been coming up. And one of the things that's been really, really noticeable the last few months has been a couple things. One, right now we're really in a season, and if this really resonates for you, let me know how it's resonating for you. Say hello, guys. Don't be shy. It's always nice to know who's watching, who's on. Laura, welcome. Good to have you here. Thanks for being here. And same with you, Raphael. We have to honor our cycles, seasons, and rhythms of our lives more than ever. And there was a shift in July. And I don't know if some of you who are maybe more energetically aware or sensitive or intuitive probably noticed that there was like a juncture point, a crossroads in July that has now put us onto a new trajectory. The way we were doing things up until that point, even if they were working, if they were not in, pristine, impeccable alignment with our divine plan and with our mission, our purpose, we were almost forced off of that trajectory, and we're being prepared, foundationally prepared for what was coming next. And we're now just starting to see what that next thing is, okay? And hey, Baljeed, welcome, love. It's good to have you here. So trajectories and the paradigm has completely changed. We are in some new territory. And if you are not present enough, if you're not doing that inner work around becoming more self-aware, becoming more in tune with the cycles, the seasons, and the rhythms of what's happening in your life, what's happening collectively, you can really go back into some past patterns, especially those of fear and separation. And fear comes from separation energetics. So the last few months, what I want to begin with is talking about honoring cycles, seasons, and rhythms. Just as the earth has its, natural cyclical nature, we also abide by our own seasons and our own cycles. Now, in our society, we tend to really emphasize and put a lot of importance around being in constant hustle and busyness And, things in the mind, especially when it comes to success and to leadership and business and being out in the world, we're very linear, right? We tend to think, well, if I'm doing my inner work, I'm on this spiritual path, things are going to look very linear. It's going to look like everything's going upwards this way. And what we tend to forget is that there's a lot of ebbs and flows in that, in those cycles and seasons and rhythms of our lives. And we tend to resist the seasons where things aren't happening or things don't look like they're happening or moving, where it looks like things are stagnant, stuck, confusing, where it looks like, oh my gosh, I've done all this work. Why aren't things panning out? Why am I not seeing results in the 3D form or the 3D reality that I'm living in? And there's a few reasons for this, because you have your own cycles, seasons, and rhythms. Now, I'll give a personal example because I always like to teach from personal examples when I'm speaking about these things. What I noticed this summer is that most summers for me are typically the time from, let's say, May, June through August of going more inward. I'm still working, I'm still serving clients, I'm still creating things, but my output is way less than my output tends to be throughout the fall, winter, and even beginning of spring, mid-spring season. And there's a reason for this, because if I am full output for most of the year, I need my inward time, I need my rejuvenation, I need to do my transformational work in a deeper way. Not that I'm not doing it throughout the year, but in a much deeper way where my system's being recalibrated and the new foundation is preparing. It's preparing me for what is next. Now, I will be 100% honest with you. I have absolutely resisted sometimes when I go into those more inward periods or periods where it looks like there's not much happening. But the bottom line is that there is always so much happening. And I've had the realization that it is as important to be in a season of winter during our actual summer months for me, because it actually is setting me up for what is next. So right now we are going through this period where we're having to honor what our cycles and seasons look like and not compare them to what we're seeing around us, because we're all different. We're all built differently. We're all calibrated differently. Our energy systems are running in different ways. So you might look, especially on social media, and I'll get to that in a moment, where you're seeing, oh my God, like these people look like they're continuously doing so much and they're out in the world and, they're so successful and they've got this going on and they're launching that and they have that. And what you may not know is behind the scenes, they may actually be in a really flourishing period when you're not right now. But that doesn't mean that your time isn't coming. So please don't forget that. So start to pay attention. One of the big things that I've taken away from this period and from what's been coming through transmission-wise is that we have to, as human beings, honor our natural cycle, seasons, and rhythms all the time, all year long. And ladies, we have 4 seasons a month with our menstrual cycles. And it's time for us to start working with those natural rhythms, with our flow. If we work against it, we actually end up being more depleted throughout the rest of the month. When you work with it and you honor, your menstrual cycle and the other seasons that we go through the different phases of our flow each month, you are actually working with the natural rhythms and cycles of your life. So what happens when you go against your natural cycles and rhythms? Well, for starters, you are out of alignment. So most of you know, if you've been following my work for a while, I talk a lot about alignment. And alignment happens when you become present enough and self-aware enough to recognize what's happening in each moment and what the energy, what your higher self, what the season of your life is asking you to do. So if you are in a forced resting period and you're trying to get up and out of fear, you're trying to produce, you are freaking out about money, you don't know what you're doing with your life, you feel confused and you're just trying to keep yourself busy, you are actually out of inner integrity and alignment with your divine plan and with your divine self. You are working against why you're in that season and cycle. As human beings, we tend to think we know how everything's going to work out. We tend to think we know what the whole plan is in our lives. And the truth is we have no idea how everything is being orchestrated. And if you can get to a place where you trust how God, life, source, your higher self is orchestrating your reality, you're going to become much more in rhythm and at ease with the cycles and seasons that you're in. So if you know it's go time and it's time to create and to produce and to launch and to be out in the world, you're going to be in alignment with that. But you'll also be in alignment with the opposite seasons where it's time to go inward and to reflect and to pause and to be and to, rejuvenate and recalibrate yourself in preparation for the next phase. Because right now what's happening, the energetics and the consciousness on the planet are shifting so quickly that the things that we were doing, even if they were working before, like I said earlier in this video, may not be working right now. They may not be working for the type of consciousness that we're now in or that you've entered. It might not be working for the vibration that the planet and the collective is in. So you have to be much more at ease and in a state of flow of knowing when it's time to release something, knowing when it's time to keep going, knowing when it's time to pause and to wait for more information. And all of this becomes easier the more connected you become to yourself, the more you know who you are, and the more present you become. And when trust is applied to this equation, it becomes much more, you feel a lot more safe and relaxed when you're in the periods of time where you're maybe not producing or creating or out in the world as much, because that brings up a lot of this idea of control. And I wrote about this in one of my posts the other day. Some of you may have seen that right now the topic of control is coming up because we're being forced to let go of how we think things should be and how we think things should go, and our timing and our controlling mechanisms of having everything look a certain way in our lives, because we believe that that's going to leave us feeling really safe and at ease within ourselves. And now more than ever, what I'm seeing for those of you on this path of personal and spiritual mastery, you are a being bringing in higher consciousness, teachings and creations and projects, and just your being alone is meant to just embody that and share that with others. We are the guinea pigs, right? We have to go through this first and we have to embody it first. So the faster you start to look at what's playing out in your life, and instead of judging it, instead of being attached to how you think things should look, and you start to move and synchronize yourself with those natural cycles, seasons, and rhythms that are present for you right now, the sooner you're going to move through these periods and you can actually enjoy the season that you're in. Like, more than anything, I've looked back on many seasons where I've been more inward, because I tend to lean on the energy of being out in the world, creating, teaching, producing, speaking, like all of that. I like to be out and helping people, assisting people. And so for me, I've had a lot of the control pieces and problems with being in the flow of that more inward time. And it's brought up for me all those controlling mechanisms. It's brought up the uneasiness. It's brought up that fear in the past. And what I've learned from going through so many cycles of this for many years is that I actually stripped myself away from really truly being in the pleasure and the enjoyment of what each season is offering me. When I'm in the harvest season of my life and things are abundantly fruitful and I'm busy and I'm out in the world, there's been a part of me where I'm like, oh, I wish I could just relax and do nothing in the past. When I've been in the season of inwardness, of stillness, of recalibration, of synchronizing to, letting go and resting more, there's always a part of me that wishes that I was out creating in the past. We have to respect, appreciate, and honor exactly how each season is setting us up for the next. So the more you resist this, the more difficult it's going to be for you, and you're not going to actually take away the lessons that each season is offering you, the gifts that it's giving you in that current season of your life. Now, the tendency is for most people, and hello to you, to those of you who've just joined, say hello, Guys, is this resonating? Is this transmission helping you? Jusanka says, oh my God, spot on. Awesome. Tell me what's happening. Is this landing? Share with me. Please don't be shy. You're in a safe space. This container is all about, helping you with where you're at in your life currently and where you're going. So the tendency when we go through some of these cycles, seasons, and rhythms in our lives, especially the more downed period ones, is that it brings up all the fear around money, right? Money, oh my God, how am I going to afford things? And we're like future projecting, right? Like future projecting. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to pay my mortgage? How am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to pay for this? How am I going to pay for my kids? This. So we go right into a place of fear. We jump from heart into head, and then we forget that Source is the infinite supplier of all. And so we start to give our power away. And this is a big theme, guys, that's coming up real potently right now, is noticing what and to whom you're giving your power away to, where you are stepping out of your inner authority, your Christ-like self, and you are giving your power away to outside conditions, circumstances, relationships, experiences that you think are going to make you feel empowered. So just let that land for a moment. Let that land. Okay? What are you giving your power and your authority away to or over to? Who are you giving your power and your authority over to? Let that sink in for a moment, because when you recognize, oh my gosh, I'm giving my power, my attention, my authority over to money or to my boss or to this relationship with a family member or to this circumstance that's playing out, you deplete your life force, you deplete your resourcefulness. And solutions aren't found when we're in a state of separation and fear. Solutions are found when we're empowered, when we are aligned to our higher self, when we are connected to our body and we're in our heart. So the more power you're giving to things outside of yourself, the more you are depleting your energy and you're depleting your solutions, your availability for solutions, and to energetically get aligned to what you need to do or who you need to be to move and progress yourself forward. And I have a whole piece on that I actually just wrote yesterday, some content that I'm going to be posting over the next couple days. So make sure you keep an eye out for that post when it comes out, because it's going to be speaking directly to that, because this is the season of being in your power and your authority. And I've talked about a lot of this on some podcasts recently in interviews. We are in a society that is consistently giving our power and our authority away to outside sources and influences. And if it couldn't get any more obvious, guys, in the climate that we're in right now, we are looking at everyone and we're saying this person's doing this wrong and we need to get rid of this person. And if things were like this, if it was more like that, and why are these people doing it this way? We have to get empowered within ourselves. Fuck giving our power away to other authority and leaders in the world. This is not what it's about anymore. If we want to see a changed world, again, the cliche thing is we have to look within ourselves. We can't keep giving away our power and our authority to outside circumstances and situations and people and etc. And we do this not just by, looking at someone and giving our power away or interacting with them. We do this through thought. We do this through word. We do this through choice and who we're relating to and how we're relating and even viewing ourselves, how we see ourselves. So this is a time of impeccability and becoming more integral with your inner self. Not just integrity, this whole thing of like, oh, integrity means just keeping my word and following through. There's so much more to integrity than just that. We're talking about spiritual integrity, higher self-integrity, and living by a higher standard with your integrity, not just living through a higher standard of wanting more money or being more successful, thinking that you're going to be more powerful and more integral then. It doesn't happen that way. Get aligned in here first, and then you're going to see that all that is going to be produced in your reality. I'm going to pause. I'm on a tangent here, guys. I'm feeling Just on fire. Thank you, Rose. Dusanka says, big time. I thought I was wrong or something was wrong with me. Yes, that. Hey, Cheryl. Erika. Hello, my love. Good to have you here. Been thinking of seeing your post about control. Yes, awesome, my love. Welcome, Vincent and Katarina. Thank you for being here. Oh, I love it. Denise coming. She is speaking to me so clear. Yes, so again, remember, this is updates. I'm bringing in several things that have been kind of popping in over the last few months in terms of, transmissions and channelings that have been coming to me, some of my own work with clients, what I'm seeing happening in conversation and in the world. So we're definitely talking about honoring your cycles, rhythms, and seasons of your life and noticing what those are. So that was part 1 of this video. If you need to come back and listen to that, and why that's so essential right now for you. The second piece is really, focusing on being in our power and our authority and noticing when we're giving it away and to whom we're giving it away or what we're giving it away to, and coming back into an inner authority and alignment with that and staying in integrity. Now, the last thing that I want to share about this, and then I'll talk to you about some things that I've got going on, and taking any questions. So guys, if you have any questions about what you're going through, ask. This is a time I'm here offering my time and my wisdom and my channelings, for free. So you have me here, ask me any question that's related to your personal journey and what you're experiencing. I'm here for you, right? So ask something, and if I feel like it's appropriate and I can, answer you in a succinct way, because we're also on a video and we're not in a session, I will do my best to do that. So the other piece that's been really coming up, and I'll say hello to all of you in just a moment that have just joined, is this idea, and I keep hearing this with my guides all the time. Guys, like, beautiful things are coming. Like, beautiful things are ahead for all of us. To the degree that you're willing to let go, and the term that I've been hearing over and over again, put one foot in front of the other, you're going to be set up for incredible things that are coming. The bounty. And I'm not just saying this from being like all positive and spiritual woo-woo and all that. Like, I really feel that for many people's lives, if you've been doing the work, like, really big things are coming. Bigger things than you probably could have imagined or hoped for or desired for yourselves. And with some patience and deep trust, faith, and hope, while staying in your power, it is going to show up in your life. Now, what do I mean by putting one foot in front of the other? I know it's pretty simple to understand what I'm saying around that, but it's going to work in 2 ways. And I actually was talking to a client this morning and this came up. So on one hand, there's going to be some of you right now who are literally in a place of fog and confusion. You don't know what's happening. And that was actually me for a little while. I wasn't being shown a lot of things. I tend to be shown from my guidance what's coming next, the preparation for what's next. I had an internal feeling, and I've been having internal feeling, and this feeling like the doors are opening now, like October, change of seasons, the fall is coming in, there's big things that are going to be starting to unfold and show up. And I'm not just feeling that for myself, I've been feeling that for a lot of other people. But for a long time, there was this place and this feeling of unknown, uncharted territory, and this like fog or veil that was placed over my own eyes and my own way of seeing. And the term that was coming up, because I feel like I have to go through a lot of things to teach afterwards, to talk about these things. I kind of go through it, and then I have the ability to impart this transmission, this channeling, whatever you want to call it. The one foot in front of the other means you don't need to know the big picture or how everything's going to work out. You don't need to see what's going to happen 2, 3, 4, 5 months, a year down the road. Like a lot of that old goal setting and trying to have everything figured out and your life mapped out for the next 5 to 10 years. Guys, like, honestly, do whatever you want, but I would not focus on those things. That is a false illusion of I think, safety for a lot of people, of future projecting. And then people get attached to what life has to look like. I think you can have visions and dreams and goals. Yes, 100% do I believe in that. I have that for myself, but we have to let go of the ways in which we think it's going to show up, how it's going to show up, when it's going to show up. And we have to start really working in co-creative partnership with the divine aspect of ourselves, because the divine aspect of ourselves has the full divine blueprint of how things are going to unfold and when they're going to unfold. So we have to get aligned to divine order and timing now more than ever. And so one foot in front of the other really looks like this. I don't know what it's going to look like a month from now, or even 2 weeks from now, or 2 years from now. But what I do know is that as I get present, as I get still with myself, I have this inner knowing that I need to do this small action step next. That's all I know. That's all I know right now. The only thing I know right now is I need to be still. The only thing I know right now is I need to do this little thing. I need to make that phone call. I need to create that email, or I need to create this project right now. So notice what your one step or 1 foot in front of the other represents for you in your life right now, especially if you're in a quieter season of your life. There's a lot more uncertainty and a fog that is covering your ability to see what's coming forward. Now, the opposite to this is some of you might be saying, well, okay, great, I don't relate to that. I'm like really busy. So if you're really in a busy season right now, meaning there's a lot of things that you're juggling all at one time, lots of projects, there's a lot of demand on your time and your schedule, and then your mind is going to, well, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. How am I going to be able to survive this period? How am I going to complete all these things and do quality work and take care of myself? Same thing goes for you. 1 foot in front of the other. You don't need to know any more than that. And the part of you that does need to know more than that is the part of you that's trying to control your outcomes and find a false sense of safety in that. Safety doesn't come from that. Safety comes from being in the present moment, fully connected to who you are, who you're being, and your divine self. So remember this. It's 1 foot in front of the other right now. Some people have said we've entered the 5D paradigm. We're in the 5D, architect and reality of that. And, I don't always do the 3D, 4D, 5D stuff. I do follow it. I've been aware of it for many, many, many years on my path of how all of this works. I like to talk in real practical terms, and not to say that that's not practical, because if you're watching this and you really subscribe to that, all the power to you. As long as it empowers you and you really resonate with it, then that works. But, what I can tell you is that each month that passes by, the energy is changing faster and faster. And the more we have to be in a place of flexibility with what we're being called to do and who we're being called to be, what we have to let go of and what we have to allow to come in. And rather than focusing your attention on all those things outward of well, if I only had this and I only did that, then I would feel more confident and comfortable in myself. If I actually saw that results were coming, then I would believe that there's something being orchestrated, that life is on my side. All those programs are the pieces that need to be really looked at. So if you get quiet enough, or when you allow yourself to get quiet enough with what is happening in your reality, the fear or the separation energetics that are coming up for you right now, and you start to peel the layers of the onions within yourself back, you're going to start to get clearer and clearer and clearer that, oh, hey, this is what this time period is really offering me. This is what I need to learn about myself. This is what's going on. Oh, gosh, I've been focusing on this when I really need to be focusing on this. Make sense? So I'm going to pause. I'm going to say hello. Johnny, welcome. Dusanka, thank you. I adore you too. Bonnie, it's so good to have you here. Martin, welcome. Erika says, I have to watch the replay. Missed the first point. I'm noticing that the story does not hold power over my ability to serve. Okay, awesome. Yes, go back. And you'll see, Erika, in if you're still here, that if you may not resonate with the things that I'm saying with right now, and I always like to empower people, like it may resonate, may not. You have to be in your power to discern. That's a whole other live, I think, that I'd like to do on the power of discernment, because that's another huge theme that's coming up. And discernment also is very much tethered into power and authority within ourselves. So guys, leave me some comments here. How is this landing? How is this working for you? Adriel, welcome. Layla, welcome. Dusanka, I noticed that. I'm not sure what you're making reference to, Dusanka. And Deborah says, love being with you and with others. This is cool. Deborah, so good to have you here. All right, so one thing that I want to share, and this is something that's been on my mind actually for a little while. You know, I've been really blessed to have a lot of wonderful people who followed me and my work for quite some time reach out to me recently and tell me that my posts and the videos that I've been doing have really helped to change their lives. And that means a lot, because one of my agreements with myself years ago when I came onto social media, I did have one other thing I wanted to share with you guys. I'll come back to that in a moment, and it's important. The one thing that I made an agreement around was that this would be a way of serving people that maybe I would never have the ability to work with or serve on a private level or in a group level or, you know, even in my events. So we're in the last quarter, and here's my invitation and unreasonable request to those of you who are watching and have been, you know, wanting to dive more deeply into some of these aspects and themes that are playing out right now. I have my private sessions, my Sacred Soul sessions. It's just a week-long container. It's not a long-term program. So if you're not ready to dive more deep into the ongoing transformational containers that I provide, which are longer and are much bigger investment of your time, your energy, your finances, and your full self, but want to work on maybe one theme or one major issue or something that's coming up for you right now in relation to what I've been sharing or something completely different, please reach out to me. My Sacred Soul sessions are a week long, and I'm not going to be offering them for much longer because part of my inward time was also receiving the new creations of what I'm going to be producing and launching in the coming months. And one of them is starting to create programs that are self-taught, where I'm not going to be doing the private work. I'll only be doing the longer container programs, the bigger programs with clients. So if you have been really desiring to work with me, if my posts have inspired you, you've been getting results, I promise you that our time together will be even that much more valuable and deeper and transformational for you. Coming into the frequency of our co-creative process together really does create accelerated changes. So, you know, what I would recommend if you are ready to dive deep, ready to kind of iron out, work through some kinks, you know, that are coming up for you for the last quarter, let's get on just this week-long program. Let's do a Sacred Soul session together. If you want to do deeper container programs, you can reach out to me as well. And I have a trance channeling event coming up. Yeah, it's been like several months. I actually haven't been as guided to do any events in the last little while, and I need some significant breaks in between doing my events because it takes a lot out of me. And I do trance channel for my private clients and our coaching programs as well. I have one coming up with Beyond the Ordinary show. I was just on that. I posted a replay and link to all that in a post I put up earlier today. You can go check that out with John Burgos. And my special offer that I'm, you know, inviting people into is an Evenings with V experience on October 19th. At 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. That will be 7:30 p.m. for those of you on the East Coast. So it's still, you know, a little bit earlier. It's going to be, I believe, a 2.5 hour event. It's $111. If you haven't experienced my trance channeling work, please come and attend. It is completely transformational. If you don't do any private work with me, and this is the one way that I can support you this year, come to these events. The trance channeling events, I have people that come to them quite regularly when I do them, and their whole trajectory has shifted in a totally different way in their life, in a positive way. It's going to work on you in a multitude of ways. So it's not just the messages that they're talking about, but it's the energetics, it's the vibration of the Pleiadian guides working with me to empower you to step into your magnificence and to get your vibrational alignment impeccable with that. So it's working on the subtle levels, it's working on the gross levels, it's working on the physical, mental, emotional levels, the spiritual levels. And I promise you, it's going to be a real potent and juicy experience this month, especially with all the energies that are playing out and now that we're heading into the final months of 2019. So that's my invitation for you. Just reach out. I know it's a lot of information. So if you're interested in any of what I've shared, send me a message. I got you. So here's the last piece. And I actually wanted to do a full video on this. And I'll come to your comments in a moment. Guys, take breaks from social media. If you're in a period right now, I don't want to tell you what to do, obviously, but if you're in a period of your life right now where you are finding that there's a lot of static, there's a lot of just clutter in your space, in your field, your intuition, your psychic abilities, your channeling abilities, your human abilities feel like they might be struggling right now, like they're just not as clear, you're not as potent, you're not as much of this beacon of energy and light that that you are here to be or have been before. What I'm going to recommend that you do is get off of social media, get off of your smartphones. I have been doing tons of research. This is going to actually start to become included in all the work I'm doing with clients, especially for those of you who are looking to strengthen your intuition, your connection to soul and source, God. If you're spending a lot of time on social media, this is screwing up your connection. I am guaranteeing it. Usually I don't say those things, but without a shadow of a doubt, this is impacting your ability to produce, to focus, to stay committed, to be connected to yourself, to others, and to your divine connection. So if this is up for you, just start to take some breaks. Get some boundaries and discipline around removing yourself off of social media and having some downtime off of your apps and your smartphones. You see, when we start to have more AI and virtual reality come into our everyday lives, and it's already starting to happen, guys. I was just watching the other day on YouTube in China, they are starting to do an experiment next year where there's going to be cameras everywhere all over Hong Kong, and it's going to be a social experiment, meaning you're going to be rated on how you're showing up day to day, who you're being, which is freaking scary, and it's an episode of Black Mirror. But as we're starting to see more of the technology come in, the 5G, we're starting to see virtual reality, we're starting to see AI come in and start to dominate our lives. We've already been experimented on with social media. We've already been experimented on with our smartphones. It's designed to keep us disconnected. We think we're being connected on this. And in a way, yes, we are. There is the light side to this. I said this in a post a few weeks ago. But really, it is keeping us truly disconnected on a deeper level. So it's important that you get off of social media, take regular detoxes and breaks from your smartphones, put your phone down, really get disciplined around this, guys, because we've got to get empowered on how we're using this technology that's available to us, because right now it's using us. It's designed to disrupt our neural pathways and our chemicals in our bodies and in our brains. And if we allow it to take over and dominate our reality, we can really go down a trajectory where we're getting more and more disconnected from who we really are. And that impacts the consciousness on the planet. Because I know most of you watching, this is what you're all about. I don't attract people who are not on this path, who are not about waking the planet up, right? So we have to get really disciplined around this. And, I'd love to empower those of you who resonate with this message of disconnecting to do it. I've done it several times over the last month, and that is when all the new ideas and new inspiration and the cluttering out of energy and other people's energy and ideas and thoughts, all that just removed, and I felt like I was at home with myself in a way that I haven't felt in a long time, because I hadn't taken a social media detox in a while, and even a smartphone detox. So that's my one little PSA at the end that I want to add because it will do you wonders, I promise you. And I want to know how it impacts you. So I'm going to start to wrap up because this is long. I always do long videos, long posts. That's just my style. Dusanka says the rapid changes in energy month to month and the shifts. Yes, I got it. Okay. Danny, welcome. Vanessa, so good to have you here. Lisa, welcome. And then Deborah says, working with you on the long ride has been insane. I was able to tackle massive new things. Your work is transcendent. Oh, Deborah, thank you so much for saying that on this live and declaring that publicly here. I love you so much. You are such a dear client and sister, friend, and human being. And watch out for Deborah's work. She is putting out something really awesome. And Deborah, if you want to include that in the links here, you can, for people to check out. She's created her own streaming service with indie series and films. She's in the entertainment industry. She's a beautiful actress, writer, director, producer, and she's one of the individuals that is rocking the new Hollywood movement. And I have the honor and privilege to work with her and guide her in her journey. And it's been wild and so awesome. So thank you, Deborah. I love you. Lisa, thank you for the heart and the prayer, the namaste. I appreciate that. Dipshan, welcome. Amanda. Oh, there's so many wonderful people that have joined. What a great group. Lisa says, oh my God, I just spoke to a local group on this today. Awesome. You'll have to clarify which piece you spoke about. I love that we're in sync. Michelle, welcome. And Connie, Jennifer, so good to have you here. And Renee, yay. Awesome, Deborah. Thank you. PlanetTwisted.com is Deborah's website, and you're welcome. You're an angel as well in my life. So guys, before I wrap up, any questions about what I've shared? Anything you want to ask me about what I've been talking about, or something that's been going on in your life that you maybe want just a quick little, piece of guidance or suggestion around, post it here. And I'm going to include my links for my Sacred Soul session, and also for the Beyond the Ordinary show, the live trance channeling virtual. It's virtual, guys. Remember, that's virtual on October 19th. So you can join me. Like, this is it, guys. We're in the last quarter. What you haven't, been working on, or what you've been avoiding or resisting, or what you're wanting to create, at the end of this year, moving into 2020, this is the time to get on it, guys. So if there's nobody has anything to ask or share at this point, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure to do this Facebook Live. It's been a while and I miss doing this. And yes, stay tuned for the new things that I've got coming out. I'm also in the beginnings of working on my podcast finally. So I'll be excited to launch that over the next couple of months. Granted that is in divine order and timing, of course. So lots of love, everybody. Go enjoy your day. Go share your brilliance, your gifts, your power, your essence with the world. The world needs it now. It's time. We're all in this together. And if there's anything that I can do to support and guide you on your journey, please reach out, and I will talk to you very soon. Have an awesome day wherever you are in the world. Much love, everybody. Bye.